Now, it's a well-known fact that outside of the studio, myself and Matt never, ever socialise. It sounds like we get on, but outside the studio...
No, daggers.
Absolute daggers. It's one of those relationships where if we're not around a microphone, we really don't talk. However, last week, we did go for a cup of tea together. Rare event. We did go for a cup of tea together at Needham Market. And while we were there, we talked earnestly about giving something back to the people of Suffolk. And I'm even doing my earnest hands here. Surrounded by teapots, we battered around a few concepts. The people's pasty, the people's goat, the people's roundabout were just a few of the ideas that we were having. Then Matt had a burst of inspiration.
The People's Teapot. It was obvious.
Well, I know we were surrounded by teapots, but I was going off on a bit of a tangent. So what was your concept behind the People's Teapot then?
Well, basically, it's the People's Teapot. It belongs to them. It's got their names on it.
Okay.
It's got their images of Suffolk on it, which we were going to draw later on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and from now on, whoever contacts the show, your name gets added to the People's Teapot. It really is the People's Teapot of Suffolk. This is a great idea. I can't believe we didn't think of it. I can't believe someone else hasn't done this.
You're very passionate about this.
Of course, it's a fantastic idea.
I've never seen you more animated than you are right at this moment.
It's scary.
Yes, I agree with you, it is. What we created that day belongs to us all. And this is its story.
Right, so Matt and Simon, we're at Ian V's coffee shop in Needham Market. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's named after me and my sister, Emily and Vicky.
Which one are you? You E or V?
I'm V.
How many teapots have you got?
546.
We haven't introduced you. Are you a regular here?
Yes, I am. I'm John.
We had some empty shelves, so my nana said it would be a good idea to fill them with teapots, and people just keep bringing them in.
Do you think the idea of having a people's teapot that represents the thoughts, feelings, hopes and indeed dreams of the people of Suffolk is a particularly good idea?
Yes, it's a very good idea.
Do you think that myself and Matthew look like the kind of guys who can make that dream come true?
Yes.
See, I think the People's Teapot is a superb idea. So I just wonder if we made it, whether it would be collectible, whether it would be the kind of thing people would want.
Oh, hang on, there's Charlie Chaplin over there outside a collectible centre.
So we're here at the Old Town Hall Antique and Collectibles Centre here in Needham Market with Rod. Hello, Rod.
Hello.
Hello. What, if anything, is a quintessentially Suffolk collectible?
It's a very good question. I've got no idea. I've been here 18 years, and what sells one week doesn't sell the next, and it changes rapidly. Coins and medals always go well.
Do you think our idea of a People's Teapot could become collectible?
Only to a teapot collector.
Do you have teapots here?
Yeah, lots of them.
Could you show us some of the teapots that you've got and maybe talk us through a few?
Yeah, I'll have a look for you.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
A collectible has to be... It's only collectible if there's enough of them about to collect. So if you've only got one item, once one person has got it, that is it, finished.
Rod's come up with a fatal flaw in our plan of making one teapot. The fact that, of course, how can you collect it? It's only one.
All the tea companies make teapots for their own advertising.
But again, these are all mass-produced in a limited number. Ours isn't going to be. It's going to be a one-off. But it could be the design for more, maybe.
A lot of 20s, 30s, a lot of flowery, sort of fancy designs.
Very ornate, aren't they?
Pretty ladies and...
Rod, the design that we're going to put on the teapot, have you got any suggestions, any of your favourite Suffolk landmarks?
Well, outside the front is Charlie Chaplin, and he's recognised as here. And obviously everybody thinks of Southwell, I suppose, with Suffolk as the other lighthouse.
So maybe too obvious, but maybe not. Maybe we need that.
The lovable tramp with a cane?
Lovable tramp with a cane on top of a lighthouse.
On top of a lighthouse.
Suffolk, but...
OK, so before we go off and paint our People's Teapot, I think we should find out some more about collectibles at Needham Car Boot Sale, as we're here in Needham anyway.
And it's extremely busy. We're surrounded by stores, surrounded by cars for a start, and we're surrounded by stores selling everything from cans of drink to old bits of metal that I can't really see what they are, and books, of course, which are my personal favourites. Will the People's Teapot become a collector's item? I think the customers and the clientele here can shed some light on that.
Excuse me, so are you here collecting anything today?
Yes, I collected something, yeah.
What do you collect?
I collect some frames.
Oh, frames.
And my fish food.
Ah.
When you take your frame collection home, do you put it all in a big frame?
Yes, sure, yeah.
Excellent,
yeah.
That's a sign of a professional frame collector. I love that.
Because I am collecting different size and different model of frames.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. We found a niche market. Thank you so much.
What's your name?
Tommy.
Are you a collector of old tools?
Yes, I am.
You are?
Yeah.
What's the particular pride of your collection?
Voices, I suppose. Thank you very much.
What have you just got a chisel there?
Yeah, just as usual. Yeah.
A bolster?
Bolster.
What are you going to use that for?
Well, in any sort of brickwork or anything like that, you know.
Do you collect chisels? Is that part of your...
No, I lost one, so I'll replace it, you know. So my son-in-law might have nicked it, you know. So.
Son-in-laws do that.
And they're often. He knows around my garage and shed, you know, see what he hasn't got, what I've got.
Does he collect chisels?
Yeah, well, it's...
He collects all your stuff, doesn't he? Takes it home.
Sometimes and nick back what he's nicked from me, you know, putting it politely.
And so the loop continues.
That's right.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Anything that's typically Suffolk that you'd like added to our teapot? The People's Teapot, I'm calling it.
The people's.
It's your teapot.
Where's the best place in Suffolk? Orford?
Orford, yeah.
I could add your names to the teapot.
Joan.
I came from Orford, that's why I said it.
Yes, she loves Orford.
If we drew you casting a net to catch the Orford merman and reeling him in,
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
one, wouldn't it?
immortalised in ceramic wonder. Brilliant.
Okay, that's in the bag.
That's fantastic.
Oh, on the teapot.
That's guaranteed. Thank you very
Thank you very much.
Held together by your ideas, the People's Teapot takes shape. Find out what shape that is a little bit later on. Now, you may remember that you left myself and Matt with pockets full of ideas for the People's Teapot.
But we actually had to physically make it, so we went to Carter's Teapot Pottery in Debenham to speak to Tony and Anita Carter.
And they were lovely people, but before we could even begin to paint it, I had to make sure that our raw teapot was thoroughly cleaned.
Ooh.
Something bizarre has happened there, which is a shame, because the People's Teapot's an important thing.
So we go over to the cart wall and we play out from there.
Okay, that's what a lovely idea there,
This is
Matt.
BBC Radio Suffolk, Matt and Simon.
Indeed it is. Responding quickly.
So what I'd suggest is you wipe it all over first and you choose a light base colour first. And that's it really, you just go for it.
Sponging my teapot down with the damp sponge. Tempted to sound a little bit like Rolf Harris at this point. I'm just putting a bit of the base coat on here. There's the handle, which I'm holding.
There's its spout. Are you doing the whole nursery right?
You know, this might be time to do one of those clever radio things to indicate that time has passed.
This is the old part of the pottery, which houses the kilns. These all have names because we like to name our kilns.
Are they named after anybody specifically, or do you look at a kiln and say, now that is a Grant?
Well, we had a Doris because we thought Doris was just, you know, nice and big and cosy. Cecil was our electrician.
The teapot that we're decorating, that has been biscuit fired.
Yours has already been biscuit fired because we wouldn't allow you to paint a raw pot, which is how we make teapots. We make a teapot and it's left to dry. It's then painted in its raw stage and then it's fired. We cut out the biscuit firing.
Is it tea drinking nations that
No.
you export to, or is it kind of curiosity British kind of?
It's nothing to do with tea drinking, it's all to do with British quirkiness. They're teapots in different shapes and sizes. They're not traditional ones that you couldn't actually drink out of some of them. Some are more practical than others, but...
I'm Tony Carter, hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm fine.
What are you making today?
Bits and pieces for different orders. We're having to make some more football teapots, which we became quite well known for when we used to supply Ipswich Town. Some people might remember the football teapot and the Tractor Boys teapot. The football museum, actually up in the Midlands, has ordered some more football, so we're just about to put those under production.
Do we know who made our teapot, by the way?
Jill would have.
Jill, you made our teapot?
She's been here for 20 odd years, 25 years, something like that.
I'm just cutting off all the rough edges and cleaning up the teapots. So we do this part here and then they're left to dry overnight and they'll go to the lighter colour.
Right. On any given day, how many teapots do you reckon you work on average?
I would say roughly between 50 and 60 I make a day, different designs, large and small.
It's great to see a Suffolk business that's being creative and...
It's fantastic. My mum would be a massive fan of the box of chocolates teapot.
Yes, very good for people on diets. Yeah. So there we are, the box of chocolates, that's obviously the lid, and that's a particularly good design as well. So we do that in the cream and in a very kind of stylish black, so it looks really good with the black and the gold. So that's a very successful design as well.
One final question. Do you think there's any market for a Simon and Matt limited run of teapots? Could you make the two of us into
Yes, I'd have thought ideal. Absolutely perfect. I'm sure your listeners would really like one. Do a special limited edition.
We're nearing the end of our teapot design, aren't we?
We are. It's really soothing. It's been good to let the creative beast out, and we've pretty much incorporated everybody's design suggestions, and we're now just finishing off their names.
May go around the Teapot pottery in a moment and ask people's opinions on what they think we've actually produced here.
I'm expecting overwhelming noises of support.
Very good. Have you covered it all? Wow, yes, excellent.
What's your name?
Norman Foster.
What do you think of our teapot design so far, our people's teapot?
Let's have a look. That's obviously beer in Suffolk.
Cider, yes.
Cider, well, nearly. House in the Clouds?
And obviously everybody thinks of Southwold, I suppose, with Suffolk, but the lighthouse.
The lighthouse. Sorry. Yeah, well, I'm warm. Not too sure about the stick man.
If we drew you casting a net to catch the Orford merman and reeling him in.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah?
Oh yes, now I see that. Oh yes, that's obvious now, isn't it?
It is. Well, now once you know, it's one of those things.
Absolutely.
If we could just move on to Matthew's side.
Now, this side looks distinctly sort of Lowry-ish. Clearly the Suffolk Dalek. There.
Oh dear.
Oh no, it isn't. It's a tractor ploughing, isn't it?
You see?
It is. Sorry, beg your pardon. Yes, that's right. I've got that. And Orford Castle or something like that, probably.
Framlingham Castle.
Framlingham Castle.
Bit of a castle. I think
It's
that's
a castle. It's
Do my
clearly a
life on
castle.
It's acceptable, isn't it?
I think the whole thing's excellent. Absolutely superb.
We'll come back in a couple of days and pick up our decorated teapot.
If it looks even a smidgen as brilliant as all these ones in here, then we've done very well.
We're laughing.
Got a job.
I think it's going through Brendan tonight, isn't it?
Ooh, just to remind you that Brenda was in fact a kiln. So that's the People's Teapot. If you want your name added to the growing list already that's inside it, simply drop us a line, Matt and Simon at bbc.co.uk. But that's not the end of the story. Next week you can accompany us as we take the teapot to the people on its inaugural tour of the county.